Am I good to go?
Yeah. All right. Anytime.
Well, I don't know. This is the way I tape a stick. I don't really think you need to tape your stick this way. This is just the way I do it. I like splitting my tape because I find it builds my knob up a little bit more even. I usually only make my knob about the size of my hand. I don't really think it needs to be any wider than that. So what I do is basically I just go back and forth, building it up layer by layer. And I don't know how many times around I go through it. I just kind of go until it feels about right. Yeah, it's pretty much just one level. I used to taper it a little bit, but it's kind of everybody's own personal preference. Yeah, that feels just about right. So then I try and plan it out so when I split it, by the time I'm done building that knob, I have about enough left for the bottom part of my knob, so I don't wind up wasting a whole bunch of tape just ripping it out and throwing it in the garbage. So. So that's just kind of something to hold on to. I don't know, I just kind of like building it up a little bit because I got pretty big hands. So. I still use grip tape. So I don't know. I just find grip tape. It doesn't ball up as much as the regular tape does. It doesn't chew through your palms quite as quickly. So I'll just go around with just a little bit of grip tape. Put that up there. Put a little bit down here. Before I used to not use grip tape, and I used to get my stick used to stick in the palm of my hand sometimes. So when I go to try and play the puck, my stick would slide out of my palm. So that changed in a hurry. So then what I do is I'll just go back over here, put one strip of this across the bottom so the grip tape doesn't roll up. I'll put a little bit here. The grip tape doesn't roll up. One across the bottom. So grip tape doesn't roll up. It feels about right. I got a little bit of extra left here. And pretty much all I do is just tape it. I usually tape it from roughly about right here. Try and make them all somewhat even. And sometimes I'll tape it all the way across the toe, and other times I won't. I don't know. Most of the time I do, but that's pretty much it. Yeah, more or less.
Any questions? I got one. Because that wasn't your stick.
Yeah.
A price Monaco was okay.
Yeah.
He won still, so we won't show off. Yeah. But can you walk us through, like, that's your old rounded curve and you've gone to more of a squared curve, and maybe some of the changes that why you made that change?
One of the big things was just trying to handle pucks off of a rim. A square blade I found just you can nestle it up against the boards a little easier than a round toe. The round toe kind of looked cool, so that's basically the only reason I did that when I was in my early 20s, and I kind of figured out that something that's more efficient is better. So yeah, that's the only reason I went to a square cup.
Have you changed anything in the way you take your sticks and whatnot?
Maybe a little bit. I got kind of like a sandpaper finish on the heel a little bit, so that's why I typically only tape from about here up. I do tape over the toe most of the time and just cut it off. The scissors basically.
And the sandpaper grip does what?
I'd like to think it grips the puck better, but I think when it gets wet, it doesn't really matter a whole lot. So, it might give a little bit of texture to help control the puck off the heel a little bit when you're handling the puck, but maybe just slightly.
And the last thing is you see the difference in the height. In-goal readers will, of course, already know the carry stick is a little shorter than a lot of goalies around the league in terms of the overall height. Why do you like kind of having maybe a shorter shaft up top?
I don't know. I find that if you're trying to handle the puck and it's in your feet, it's a little easier to pull it out of your feet. I'm not a guy that poke checks a lot, so I never really found a good use for a really long stick.
Last one, switch pumps. What's the switch been like for you from a foam core up until last year, I think?
Yeah, I switched over. Yeah, just last year was my first year with a composite stick, and it's pretty good. Like, it's definitely a big change. I don't feel like I can shoot it quite as hard as I used to with a foam core stick, but there's a lot of benefits. Obviously, my forearms are thanking me a lot for it, because it's a lot less stick you got to carry around, and it's once you get used to it, you won't really notice it a whole lot.
Positive consistency from stick to stick. Some of the guys around the league I talked to, wood. There's variables in wood.
Yeah.
This is a one-piece mold.
Yeah. With a lot of times with a wood stick, you get sticks that would they'd get shipped to you and they'd sit like that and they'd be all taped together in a pile, and you'd wind up with 3 different curves in a batch of 6 sticks. So they don't warp, and they're pretty consistent.